If you're a leader that is tired of ineffective meetings, this video is for you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the exact structure that we use for our leadership meetings so that we can get the most out of our teams. The hundreds of companies that we coach, they use this exact structure to drive execution and create clarity for their organization so they can get more done. If you want to do that, tune in.
What would be possible for your life and your business if you became the best version of you?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And like I said, today I'm going to walk you through the exact meeting structure that we give to our leadership teams so they can drive execution, they can create clarity, and simply they can get more done. And so I'm just going to walk you through this. This is a tool that we teach in our sessions when we're coaching our clients. And so it should be massive value for you if you will implement it. And so let's dive right in. This is our meeting cadence, and I'm going to give you some context for what it does first, and then we'll walk through literally step by step, and then I'll give you a software that you can actually use to track this as well if you just want to follow along and put everything in one place. And what we have found from this specific cadence of meeting is it first off eliminates what us as humans traditionally do. We procrastinate. It's this thing that just we can't get away from. Work fills the time allotted. If a deadline is a week from now, it's going to take a full week. And so this creates a rhythm for us to get stuff done when it needs to get done. It also, what we found is it eliminates ad hoc meetings, what I like to call you got a minute meetings. You know, I've got an idea. Hey, you got a minute? I'm going to run this idea by you. Or, hey, this thing just happened. You got a minute? Let me run it by you. We shouldn't be having those meetings because two things happen. One is the person receiving that doesn't have the mental capacity at that moment to dive into that conversation because typically they're doing other things. And two, you don't have the ability to prioritize and track those issues that you've discussed and make sure that one, you're talking about the right stuff at the right time, but two, you're actually getting something done from this. And so this actually gives us the ability to avoid those meetings, which is less meetings, but also master what is actually urgent, what is actually important, and make decisions from those things versus just talking about stuff when it comes up. This puts it in a system and a structure. It also gives us a sense for what's done, what is not done, when it gets done, what we should be focusing on, and really just increases efficiency and gives us peace of mind. Let me walk through now this step-by-step weekly tactical agenda. We call it a weekly tactical meeting. It's part of the momentum method that we teach for the clients that we coach. And a good meeting, and we put this at the top just so this is very clear, a good meeting has structure. It's the same day, it's the same time, it's the same agenda. We start on time, we end on time. It is a discipline that we create of time to work on the business, not in the business, doing the things to keep the business running. We're working on the business to move the business forward and help it to grow. We need that consistent time. This is what a good leadership team meeting looks like, is this. And really good, any good meeting, if you're going to do it consistently, should follow that cadence. Now, there's 7 sections to this meeting. For us to get effective work done, we've broken it down into 7 sections, and each of them have a specific set of times. Now, these first 5 sections I look at, before I dive in and explain them, I look at these first 5 sections, which is 25 total minutes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each of them 5 minutes, as pre-game warm-up. These first 5 sections are your pre-game warm-up, like an athlete would be prepping, moving their body, stretching, moving around, getting warmed up to actually start the game. Now, the game starts for us when you get to section 6, is where we as a team roll up our sleeves and spend 60 minutes processing issues together, looking at opportunities, creating movement forward, and making commitments for action as a team. That is the main work of this meeting. But for us to do so effectively, we need some time to warm up. We need some time to look at data. We need some time to have some updates, to have some accountability. And I'm going to walk you through what all of this looks like. But I always say this first, is these first 5 is warm up, getting our team prepped, and then we dive in for 60 minutes. And this is the most effective time of working on the business that we get every single week as a leadership team. Okay. And so starting off, we start with what we call fired up. This is just wins. Personal, professional highlights. What's something good going on business-wise and personally that we can celebrate? This gives us an opportunity to connect as a team and then just transition into this new type of conversation. I'm not working on my task anymore. I'm discussing with my team, and we're going to start working on the business. Then we do a review of our scoreboard. And the way that we do review is not discussion. We save discussion for section 6. That's when all discussion starts. The way we do review for these sections is it's just on track or off track. We're going to look at the number on the scoreboard, and then we're going to say, are we on track or are we off track? That's it. And so you should have a KPI dashboard that is pulled up if you follow the software that we use, which I can give you access to that as well. If you click the link below in the show notes that says 90.io access, I'll actually just give you our free template that you can just follow along and track this stuff. This is where the software that we use to build all of our scoreboards. We track all of our projects, everything inside for our companies, and it actually runs this meeting for you as well, and we'll pull it up. But in the software, we click next and the scoreboard comes up and the team just says on track or off track. So whoever owns that item will say on track or off track and not discuss it. They just have ownership of what happened and accountability and visibility. If there's an issue, or if there's something to be discussed, or if it's something that is off track, we will go ahead and add an issue to be discussed later. In the software, there's a create button at the top right corner that lets you add that. If you're not using the software, you can just write it down and say, we'll discuss this when we get there. But the first thing we do is we review our scoreboard. Then we use that same process to review our rocks. These are our big priorities that the team has set for the quarter. And we'll do that same review as we're going to go through each rock, and each owner is going to say on track or off track. The head of marketing is going to go through and talk about, we had this many leads in scoreboard, this many leads, sales will say this many sales, whatever the numbers attract. And then when we get to rocks, they're going to say the same thing for projects like, hey, document and implement new sales process, or hire new sales manager, or whatever the big project it was for the quarter. They're just going to say on track or off track. No discussion, just visibility and accountability. And if there is an issue, something to be discussed, we add it to discuss later. We're prioritizing intentionally, and I'll show you what happens when we get to section 6. We're setting a cadence that we don't discuss until we've gotten all the issues on the board, because when we get all the issues on the board, we can actually determine what's most urgent and what's most important. Okay, so rocks, we review those. And the next thing we do is we do updates. These are client team updates, often what we call headlines. These are just announcements. Hey, this person's on pregnancy leave next week. This person's birthday. We closed that big client. Hey, that project, is almost done. Whatever updates that are important, whether it's employees, personal events, brief reports. It's another just quick visibility thing that creates an opportunity for adding an issue if there is something, if there is discussion, but it's typically just announcements. Now, the last thing we do before we start our discussion time is we review the action items that were assigned the week before. In this issue and opportunity processing time, we're going to assign to-dos. We're going to assign action items. And so next week, when it comes around, we will actually have accountability and say, did we get done what needed to be done? Yes or no. Anything not done, we're going to move the due date, or we're going to add some issues to discuss. And so it's the final bit of visibility and accountability. Okay. So we've gone through these 5 sections of fired up, review the scoreboard, review our rocks, review our client and team updates, review our to-do list. We're reviewing all of these things so that then we can start discussing our issues and our opportunities together. That is when the work begins. We roll up our sleeves. We say, here we go. It's time to do some work together. We're going to work on the business. We're going to discuss our issues and our opportunities. We're going to process through them. We're going to create action. The point of this process here, this issue and opportunity processing, is for us to solve by, you see this in the top line, solve by stating clearly what the issue is and then creating micro commitments. It's like, what is the actual issue? Let's make commitments. What is the issue? Let's make commitments. What is the issue? Let's make some commitments. And so here's how we do that. There's 2 parts to know. One is how we prioritize them. We can rank them. And number 2 is how we actually solve them. And I'm going to give you a 3-step process for that. First off, we have to prioritize these issues. And when you actually see within the software that we use, again, you can click the link below. It'll get you free access to that software. It's a free trial, and it'll upload our template as well that you can use, which is really valuable. It's the same template we give to the clients that start working with us. So you can just follow along and use this same thing. there's a section in there when you add issues and opportunities that you want to discuss or you want to process, you can actually rank them in order of urgency and importance. And this ranking allows us to make sure we're discussing the right things at the right time. The last thing I want to do is spend 30 minutes discussing an issue that doesn't really matter that much yet, when there's other pressing things that should have been discussed first, that are more important or more urgent. And so we need to be able to rank the issues that we have so we can know when to discuss things and what is most urgent and important now. And so we use 3 numbers to rank: 5, 3, and 1. 5s are fire, 5-alarm fire. That is the most urgent and most important things that have to be discussed right now, today. Otherwise, we got an issue, or it already is an issue. We got to make a decision on it. 3s are not quite fires. You could say they're smoldering. They're embers. They're not fires, but they're still important, and I want to discuss that today. So 5s and 3s are fires and want to discuss. Those are things that we will discuss in this week's meeting. If it's a 5 and it's a 3, it will get discussed on this week's meeting. If it's a 1, our last ranking, that will be discussed in future meetings. And so we go through all 5s, we go through all 3s, and then 1s we save for the next time, and then it'll be recategorized every week. Now, important to note, you don't just add issues during the meeting, because like I said earlier, when you go through the scoreboard and there's things that are off, we're going to add an issue to discuss. When you go through the rocks and things are off, we're going to add an issue to discuss. When people got questions that come up, we're going to add an issue to discuss. And so we will be adding these during the meeting. The magic is when, like I said earlier, avoiding these ad hoc meetings is when you get an idea throughout the week or an issue that pops up or something you recognize, we're already adding it during the week. And so there's a list of things we've already prioritized and added before the meeting even started. Then we added to the list in the meeting. And so then when you actually get to this section 6 of the issue and opportunity processing, you've got a really thorough list of things that are important for us to discuss today. And so 5s and 3s we'll go through today. 1s we'll look at in the future. And then each week we recategorize them and re-rank them and move all 1s up. Maybe it's still a 1. But maybe it's now become a 3, or maybe it's now a 5 because something changed. So we're going to recategorize and make sure that everything's 5, 3s, and 1s. And we discuss them, 5s, then 3s, and then we save 1s for the future. Now, that's how you rank. How you actually solve them is 3 steps. First, we've got to state clearly what the issue is. What are we actually solving for? It's what I see in a lot of teams I coach is they'll dive into this process and they'll just start saying, well, here's kind of what's been happening and here's how I feel about it. And then they just give this 10-minute explanation. And the question is, what are you actually trying to solve? Like, what's the question here? Like, are you just ranting and complaining, or what's the point? That's not valuable or effective for us. What we need is a clearly stated issue or clearly stated opportunity of here's what I need help with, or here's what I am trying to solve. Here is the issue, and I need feedback on this. So we're creating clarity for the team. That's the first piece. It's stated in 1 sentence. Let's get clear. Second is discuss it and solve it. And third is to actually know that you solved it. We're going to create at least 1 to do. That's how you solve. We state it in a sentence. Let's create clarity. We'll discuss it, and then we'll create a to do. So state it in a sentence, discuss, create a to do. Every issue we solve, every opportunity we solve should have an action item or a to do assigned. And you actually pick who's doing what, when. What's the due date? What are they doing? Who's doing it? Who is owning that task? You'll put it in the software, and all of these things that I mentioned, you add an issue, add a to do, all these things in the software. You can just click the create button and it pops right up and it adds it for you, which I'll show you here in a second when I wrap this up. But even if you don't use the software, follow this meeting structure. The last piece after issue opportunity processing is conclude. Here's how we conclude. We run back through our to-do list and confirm what are the new action items that we've committed to. Because in these issue and opportunity processing, if you solve 3 issues, we should have at least 3 to-dos assigned. How do I know I actually solved them? Because I created action, and we're going to hold people accountable to that action. And so we're going to recap the to-dos, make sure everyone's clear on those. We're going to confirm if there's anybody else that needs to be updated in this. Like if that really affects the marketing department, hey, we got to go update them and let them know. There's a lot of times cross-departmental decisions are made that the rest of the team needs to be updated, or shareholders, people that are stakeholders, the people that actually are affected by this need to be updated. Maybe the clients need to be updated. And so we're going to pass those messages on. The last thing we do is re-rate the meeting. We give it a 1 to 10, 10 being super effective, elite work. We got a lot done. 1 being we didn't get very much done at all. And so you need an opportunity to say, are we doing good work and how can we make this meeting better? It's a self-cleaning or self-improving system. And the best is when you can give a rating for the meetings. Like if someone gives a 9, here's why it's a 9. Here's where I feel like that one bit we can get better. If it's a 6, here's how we can get better. If it's a 10, great job, elite meeting. But we need to explain the rating for that meeting, and that gives us a chance to actually improve this process. And so that's the 7 sections. Each of them are 5 minutes, except for the main bulk of the work is 60 minutes. We prep, we warm up, we review all of our data and our information. We get accountability there. And then we have all of these issues that we can now process, or these opportunities we can process to make good decisions, work on the business and move the business forward. And then we conclude and we say, here is what we've committed to, and here's how we can make the business or make this meeting better. Okay. This is our meeting flow. Follow this. If you aren't going to use the software, which I'm going to flip over and share here in just a second, and I'll show you what that looks like in the software and then give you access, again, in the link below under the 90.io access. You can just click it and you can steal our template and have it for free. And so you can just try it out there and test it. But if you're not going to use the software, that's totally cool. Take a picture of this, write this down, go through this together, and you can pull up wherever you track your KPIs here. Whatever projects you say are important, you can pull them up, whatever system, like I don't care what system you use, but this is the most effective structure we've seen with hundreds of organizations that it's driven so much more execution and clarity. Like I've had multiple of our teams that we coach tell me, I don't even know what we were doing before. Like we wasted our time in meetings. Like how did we even run a business before? This tool is effective, and it may seem light. Like it may not seem like a big deal. Like just a meeting structure. These meetings get stuff done. They create clarity for the organization. They actually make sure that the ball is moving forward because we're reviewing our data. We're reviewing our action items. We're solving big issues together. We're holding people accountable to their commitments. And so clarity is created on what we're doing, what the plan is. We're looking at the data, and we're actually holding people to action. If you can do that consistently and you follow this process, your team is going to be much more effective. Now, let me just share our software really quick, and then I'll make sure it's pulled up properly. So let me unshare really quick, and then I'm going to share our software so you can see what this actually looks like within our system. And so you should be able to see it swap right here. Perfect. Okay. So inside of our software, 90.io, you can just see the screen here. This is what the dashboard looks like. This is just a random snapshot from one of the accounts. And you're able to see, look at this tab on the left, all the things it tracks. There's scoreboard, rocks, to-dos, issues and opportunities, headlines. All the stuff that I just mentioned are existing inside of this. Now, when you actually go to meetings, you can hit start meeting and it'll pull up that whole framework. Like I'll just show you really quick. I hit start meeting, weekly tactical. It pulls up on this left side tab, step by step, all the things we just discussed. And so you literally can hit next and it pulls up your scoreboards. So we have all of our data there. You can hit next and you pull up our to-dos or our rocks. You hit next and there's headlines. We don't have any there right now. We haven't run a meeting. Now next is to-dos. Next is issues. And there's an actual list of issues that need to be discussed so that you can solve problems together. And so if I'm using that software to track my meetings so you can get stuff done. If you don't use the software, again, totally cool, but use that structure, follow through those 7 steps. And if you will do that, if you will get visibility, if you will get clarity, if you look at your numbers, if you have a time to work on the business and solve issues together, and you can commit to that consistently, you're going to drive your team forward. Now, you might be a business owner hearing that and saying, wow, this tool is really valuable. How do I make sure that I actually do it right? Or 2, what else is there available? Here's what I'll say. We do this for teams. So you can watch the video, you can try to self-implement it. That's totally cool. That's awesome. If you want to accelerate this process and not only make sure that your meetings are run properly and you're tracking the right things, your scoreboards are set up properly, people are assigned to things properly, but that's one piece. But if you want to actually accelerate your business and have the whole toolbox instead of I just gave you a screwdriver, let's get the whole toolbox. Let's get the hammer. Let's get the nails. Let's get the saw. Let's get the tape measure. Let's get the whole thing so that your business can execute at a high level. We help organizations create the systems and structures so that they can scale. If you are growing fast and you want to systemize things so it's not all on your plate as a leader or owner, and you can get more done through your team and lead more effectively and drive execution through them and remove all the chaos that comes with growth, we can help. Just click the link below that says book a call about business coaching, and I can help you. We can talk, we can chat, we can see how we can support you. And maybe it's just walking through this thing together and you're like, hey, help me set up that thing. I'm happy to give you the free help on that. I don't even need to talk about the coaching if you don't want. I'm happy to set you up on that system if you need some feedback. But if you are serious about this growth, if you're serious about taking your business to the next level and getting access to all these tools, book a call below. I would love to chat about how we can help your organization. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next episode.